Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons /live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. Just checking here to make sure I'm live on the things, and it looks like indeed I am, so I can probably drop a few windows here. Welcome everybody. I'll be here for the next hour. I wasn't sure that we were going to get our downtime done in time. Thankfully, we did. We had an extended downtime maintenance today that was originally potentially going to go till 3 p.m. Eastern today. Thankfully, that did not have to happen, and we were able to open the worlds just in the past 15 minutes or so here. So the game worlds are now open, and looking pretty good. So we had to do some additional maintenance, not worth getting too much into the technical weeds of it, but it was basically some additional kind of hardware maintenance and just kind of more, a little bit more on the spring cleaning side of things. Hello everyone over on YouTube and Twitter, Twitch, Druids, Fowler, Forehands, or Smash. Let me see everyone over on, I'm going to drop that window that's pinging me as well, but the reason I have it up, Lotra was also down, Lotra remains down, and even though I am currently streaming Dungeons & Dragons Online, if we were to open the worlds, which we probably will during this next hour, I must needs take a few minutes to let them know. So that's what's up. Also what's up, Lamania. We have actually got Lamania active right now with Preview 2 of Update 45. That includes a more polished Alchemist, more polished balance changes, things like the range stuff, Knight of the Chalice polish, Delara's Catacombs work. All that is on right now live on the Lamania public preview server, and we're doing a dev event tonight, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Over on Lamania, we're going to be kind of hanging out with y'all and getting your feedback specifically about Update 45 as we get pretty close to it. Stay tuned on a downtime notice. We do have some additional work yet to do. However, there's a pretty good chance that it could be coming out within the next couple of weeks here, so we'll have more information on that. I went to Galanda Part 1, but I haven't done Part 2. I wasn't sure I was going to get to be able to do it in time for noon, so I got instead an internal game client set up, which is what I'm going to be showing you here in a second. So that's why I'm not on Galanda this week, because I basically got it set up for an internal game client, and we went live with just enough time that I was like, well, let me just kind of stick to my plan. So that's what I got going on here today. Ron over on YouTube, maybe give it a refresh. Hey, Fabian and Todd over on Facebook. Happy anniversary, Todd. It says you're an anniversary follower, which I assume means that that's 1 year or other. Here you are. So where am I? I am on Flamekeep. This is an internal development server, so is just slightly more iterated on than what is available on Lamania, and that's why I'm doing it, other than the fact that I could access it when the worlds were down. Although it ended up being I could have accessed Lamania anyway because it remained up. But there we go. What plans am I speaking of? Well, if you haven't seen it yet, we did do the DDO producers letter last week. We talked about that during last week's show. Additionally, then we've got Update 45 coming in the near future. We have got a new season of the Hardcore League coming up in the relatively near future. We'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks, I think. And then we've got our anniversary, you know, end of February here, and by the time you watch this, it might be that January is gone. We are now in the single digits of February, so potentially when you watch this. Right now it's January 29th, but that means in about a month it's our anniversary. So we got some stuff there to do. I'm on Flamekeep. It's an internal game development world. I thought I would just kind of build an alchemist and show it off just a little bit more. And let me... Apparently I've got a bunch of people talking to me on Facebook, and I've not undone the... Let me see if I can just drop it on the volume mixer here. See if that works. All right, so I'm just going to build an alchemist rather on the Flamekeep server. Intelligence is what you need. This is a 28-point build, so I'm going to start with a couple of basics here. You might want a little dex for armor class at the very least. I always give myself about a 10 strength just because I always give myself at least not a penalty to wisdom. And I got a few extra points here, so let's bump intelligence up to 16, maybe dex up to 12, and then con 15. All right, we'll just go with that for now. As you can see, they get a pretty wide number of skills to play with, and quite a few skill points as well. So that's pretty groovy. Going to put some points into spellcraft, UMD. I always like to put a little in spot. Search never hurts to get a little heal. Probably concentration. I don't know on my social skills what I'm going to do. I guess I will just go with bluff here and Diplo because I can. I have a human bonus feat here as well. We're doing low-level stuff, so I'm probably going to start with... well, actually, maybe I should take a look at some of the archery stuff, just because that is of interest to people on the stream. I might not normally do that, but hey, let's go for it. Why not? So, what do I need for... Oh, I think my dex isn't going to be high enough. So maybe that's a bad idea. All right, well, why don't I go with... Spell pen. Never hurts to have spell pen. And I think I might be a vile chemist, so let's go with necro, because that'll do poison spell power as well. Select which spells I want to do. I guess I'll probably take one of each. How about... yeah, flash powder, vile smash, poison, and vial of venom. Let's just go full into it. How about it's obscuring mist? That is a reflex save or trip. That's not bad. And then we'll do a curative admixture because you know that. And then lesser restoration. Yeah, feather fall. Never heard of that. I was going to randomize the look here a little bit, like it's something that I dig. Good enough. I will make it an admin just for ease, although I will probably disable some admin abilities. And we'll call it Flamekeep Alchemy. Let's see. Alchemistry. Yeah, I need point blank shot, but I only have a dex of 12, so I don't actually think that's going to work in terms of demonstrating that stuff on the show. We have thought about both this year's gift along with some other work that we're doing related to, say, Hardcore League Season 2 and what have you. So you know, we got quite a bit going on in that regard, but nothing to announce today. Sorry. There were no components for some of the spells on Lamania for the Alchemist. Yeah, we do have some additional work to do. We also saw a couple, there's a little bit of kind of animation polish yet to do, and a few other bugs that have to be worked out before we would go live with update 45. Let's pop a few levels just to give myself a little bit more going on. Give myself some loot, heroic items, Actually, you know what? Let me hit that after I level up a little bit. All right. I always do this. I always forget to turn off hints. Hints. Yep. There we go. Don't show hints. There we go. And I'm just going to go down the road here just to kind of keep things cooking along pretty easily. How about elemental skin? Sounds cool. I've always been curious about empty bottle, and how about gills extract? Nope, can't do that either. Okay. You know what? Actually, I need a bunch of jump. I forgot about that. Let's dump a level, shall we? All right. One option could be single weapon fighting, depending on what you want to go into. I'm going to go greater spell focus necro. Corrode weapons. Yeah, that'll do like an acid buff. And this will be universal spell power, not terrible. Glue bomb sounds pretty fun. Let's try that. Again, I'm putting it all into intelligence as my main stat. Which alchemical study do I want to go into, or choose an int bonus to determine bonus to attack and damage with simple weapons? Again, there, like I said, there is some kind of single weapon fighting even work that you can kind of take advantage of. I think I'm going to go with, or you can take the meta magics, or actually, frankly, point blank shot stuff. I guess we'll check that. Let's see if maybe I can do with that. Let's do that. Alright, I'm up a few levels here, so I should be able to at least pick up a few pieces of loot and maybe go do a little questing here. Actually, I think there was even an alchemist stuff. This is all the recipes you might need. You'll be creating them similar to artificers as something that you can transcribe essentially into spells if you need to. I'm just getting myself just basic stuff because why not? Just go for it to the ease of getting this all done in time and not taking a lot of time to mess with it. The idea is just to kind of get myself a little bit closer to maybe what I would want. I need boots. Boots. Sure. Could use another belt or ring. I don't see a belt here. I do see a ring. I've already got that. Alright, good enough. Good enough for now. And let me quick target. Yeah, I think that look will be fine. Good enough for purposes of doing this. And let us see. Borderlands will be fine. Alright, let me head over to chat here now that I've got a chance to do this. Yeah, the UI element for the reaction state has been updated. A bunch of polish has been done. I don't know that alchemists have a lot of necro spells, but remember that the poison spells will proc. Poison spell power is procced off negative spell power. You're right, actually. I should swap that because it is Conjuration Transmutation, not Necromancy. There you go. I'm wrong! Let me quick check something before I start questing. Let me just kind of give you a peaceful view while I do a thing, which will take just a second. Lotro, game world, tab reopen, hashtag Lotro. Sorry, it'll be just a second. Anyway, I'm glad we're able to get this maintenance done soon. We're able to keep Lamani open during the downtime. Hopefully this maintenance will have a little bit of impact on some of the game performance reports we've been seeing in recent weeks. That is actually why we're doing this, is we're doing several waves of kind of performance passes on the internal game environment to make sure it runs as strongly as it can, so that we're in a pretty good place. Okay, real quick. The other bit of exciting news, and unfortunately I can't really show it off for you here because it's not quite ready and I don't think I even have it loaded in. But this particular version of our internal game development client happens to have the 64-bit client on it. How cool is that? I don't think I'm actually set to 64-bit mode. Let me actually consider redoing that. Give me just a second. Exciting stuff here watching me announce Game Worlds being open. I have to. They're waiting on me. No, they're not. You want to know the dirty secret about Game World announcements? It doesn't matter that much if I announce the worlds are open. People who are going to log in right when the worlds are open are going to log in regardless. But I do it as a service to everybody. All right, so there we go. There we go. Let me actually pop out of this game client here quick and see if I can do a thing. I'm getting some weird clicking. I don't know if that's coming through at all. It's weird. Not quite sure what to make of that. Oh, thanks on the shirt. Yeah. I've had this one for a while. It was an old, I can't remember the name of the group now. Woot? Woot, that's what it was. If you remember them. I think they're still doing things. Yes, here we go. Let's see if this works. Yeah, sure. Let me call up the weekend bonus while I'm doing this thing here. So because I'm doing this, you may see a little bit of a game crash, but we'll see what happens. Maybe not. So far, it's actually been looking pretty good. No ETA to announce on the 64-bit client because we do have some additional sort of testing and things like that to do. However, at least this is really the first week that it's been integrated into an environment for QA to do some testing that they need to do. So a little too early to say anything qualitative about it. However, at least initially, didn't cause my computer to explode, so that's got to be good. Double Commendations of Valar is the bonus for this weekend. In addition, the Resia Ice Games and Evening Star Midwinter Festival kick off. Actually, I think they're live as of right now, to be honest, although maybe we didn't. Yeah, they should be live right now. And that'll be going through Tuesday, February 11th. So a standard full 2 weekends and then some of the Resia Ice Games and Evening Star Midwinter Festival. And because we have to take the worlds up and down in order to bring this particular event to you, it'll be going basically through that Tuesday, shut off the following Wednesday when we bring the worlds down. Actually, let's see. Let me do a little cheaty here so I can just kind of drop my... Sorry, one more thing. Forgot to slot my spells. Prepare my spells. Let me do that quick. All right. Let's try... Which one should we give a try? I know that we've done Cure Light Wounds before, so let's do Vial of Venom, Vial Smash, and I kind of want to check out this... this Fine Dust. Let's try that. And then on the level 2 side, let's try the Glue Bomb and the Cold Spike. Let me get a UI element up so that we can pretty easily give this a shot in the environment. Okay, try that again. Oh, it's not showing up, huh? Okay, let me try this again. No, no. Oh, that's right, that's right. That's right. I know what's up. Thanks for calling it out. Note 2X splitters out there. Come on, work. There we go. There we are. When the 64-bit client goes live, it's a different element in XSplit. We're gonna have to do it again. Yeah. There we are. Now we're back. Generally, the biggest issue I have found with OBS is a DirectX issue that I think, this is an oldie but goodie, maybe is still what's going on. I haven't used OBS in years. But if DDO was in windowed mode, it would display, but if it was in full screen mode, in DX11 it would not. So switching it either to DX9 in full screen mode or just switching it into windowed mode would get it to display in OBS. So at least I remember back in the day that was what the deal was. Can we get a Shifter Alchemist Iconic? Well, I don't know about an Iconic, but in the relatively near future, yeah, you'll be able to do a Shifter Alchemist. Ideally, I think here by the end of 2020. So, according to our new producer's letter, anyway. All right, let's give this a shot. All right, it looks like they're, boom, splashing that to the ground. You can see I'm starting to build up the colors, as it were. I am running fast in admin mode just to kind of, for convenience. I can turn that off if you guys and gals wish. All right, so that was blue and red for Orchidium, so I should probably keep doing that, casting blue or red to see what kind of benefits I can get. And then see what happens if I do a yellow. It should swap. Yep. So then I will have lost the benefit I've picked up there. And then you can just kind of swap it in and out based on the needs of your benefits and what it is you want to do. Is the reaction state icon on the left movable? Correct. Yeah, you can just pick it up and kind of drag it to wherever works best for you. And I don't even know if that's necessarily done yet. The other piece you'll notice is when you do have a reaction going, you'll see that the circle around your character changes to properly indicate what reaction you are in. That's some feedback we could look into in terms of offering perhaps a smaller version of the reaction state icon, something like that. We're not even live with it yet. Clearly it's been polished over the past week. We'll see where we end up with it. UI scaling in general would be a much bigger project. Yeah. All right, over on Facebook. John, I'm sorry if the stream's lagging. So they must have, oh yeah, there we go. It's not stuck, but could be. Gaboom, gaboom. Let me pick a couple of different spells. Just to kind of show you a few different things to take a look at. Why don't we try Elemental Skin. We'll do the Curative Admixture so you can see how that works. I did not take the Accelerate Meta Magic on this one. Sure, Feathers Extract. And then we'll do the Corrode Weapons and Bottle Boost. Okay. But as you can see, we are currently running the beta version of the 64-bit client over on the internal game development server known as kind of our Flamekeep server is what it's called. It's kind of an internal server that is used to check out some things sometimes. And that's what's up. This is not obviously a full regression, and something like that can and very well may turn up something that will cause us to need to do additional work, but at least the initial impression has been pretty good on the 64-bit client. You know, one of the nice things about being second, as it were, with Lord of the Rings Online being first for the 64-bit client, is a lot of the work that had to be done from scratch for that one was already, you know, in some state of further along for this one. So I think it's the process has not been too bad, frankly. Most of my stuff is just a boost on this one, but I do have that I can do. Okay. So, can I demonstrate? That's the thing, is it's not, you know, on the one hand it's a big deal, but on the other hand it kind of isn't. In that, you know, it's not like a miracle, but I think hopefully, ideally, and what we've seen overall, long term here on the Lord of the Rings side, is a general improvement overall in, say, loading, just game performance overall. So I think, but again, I mean, like, I can show you a few things that I might do if I were testing this in a live game environment, which is, you know, pop into a lot of load screens, things like that. However, it should be noted this is an internal game development environment, so it is not the same kind of environment that is set up for a live active game world. So I'm not sure how much value, frankly, you're going to get from this. But you can see it basically loads pretty quick, which is the point. So it does not support higher versions of DirectX than what we already support, and that is up to DirectX 11. Some people are going to see a bigger benefit from it than others, depending generally on how new your computer is. The newer your computer is, as a general rule, the more you potentially stand to benefit from a 64-bit client. If you're, say, on Windows XP and running 2 gigs of RAM or something like that, it's probably not going to do very much to you. But that's okay. And we'll have more information about when it comes out, but if everything goes well, it could be in the relatively near future here. It'll probably go similar to the way it did with Lord of the Rings Online as well, in that we will offer it as a beta option for people initially, and it'll be in the little drop-down arrow on the game launcher. You'll just click it. It'll be an option to opt into the 64-bit client beta, and you'll run it, hopefully run it well. If for any reason you need to swap back to the 32-bit client, you can. Not just once, but over and over again if you really want to. And that's, again, just through the drop-down in the game launcher. And then presumably once things are going well, the beta tag will be removed. You run DDO on your TI-84 calculator. I like it. Alchemist is a paid class, correct. But all the other stuff will just be in the release notes on that. If you take a spell that gives you a trait of fox, are we going to have fox ears or a tail for the duration of the spell? That's something we could potentially do in the future, but at least initially would not be the case. Wow, we have actually swapped this around some, haven't we? We really have. Wow, we kind of broke it up, didn't we? It's pretty neat. Question, we already had a question about any word on shifters. Well, to make sure you're aware, we did announce that we would be bringing shifters with our next expansion. That would be an expansion into the Fae Wild later this year in a producer's letter that we published, was it early last week? About a week ago, a little over a week ago now. Nothing further to say about shifters from then, because it is something that'll be happening later this year. You know, we've got some other things to do first, up to and including getting Alchemist out. Turn off my super speed. I think we're going to see a lot. I'm really excited. We've already seen a lot of kind of theory crafting and work done by the community about some potential synergies with other classes and Alchemist. But yeah, it's going to be pretty good, I think, here. So should be cool. And I need another spell that is not just the one. Yeah, how many of you have already picked your shifter name, huh? Yeah. I know I saw a handful of comments on that after last week's producers letter, like, yep, I already got the name that I'm going to use. There's a potential for update 45 next week, but stay tuned for formal downtime announcement. We do have some additional work that needs to be done, so we're not really formally there yet, but it's possible, depending on how things go in the coming days. Melt Armor is a fun spell. That's cool. Casting a little alchemical healing on myself. I don't believe... Yeah, you don't need to target yourself. So there you go. What even is a shifter? So some people have looked to shifters as a little bit like a lycanthrope, but that's not entirely accurate. They are basically a race of creatures that can tap into their bestial nature for various benefits. So, for example, you would tap into your wolf-like nature or something like that to do additional damage and various effects and things like that. Is it possible we'd ever see the ninja class from Oriental Adventures? Anything is theoretically possible. I don't really see us doing that anytime soon here, but theoretically possible. All right, let me get myself a little bit better on the... All right. Remember, one of these has a chest. So, like I say, I'm really just kind of putzing around so that you can see the way these spells interact and all that sort of thing. We do have a ninja spy as a as an enhancement tree. I'd say that that's probably going to be where it sits for some time to come. Do alchemist spells require regents? They do require their own spell components, yes. Although there is also a pretty easy way to get the spell component costs lifted in one of the enhancement trees. It's basically almost like a conjure bolts, but for potions. Cavalier, I think there is a case to be made where you could make a Cavalier as either a class or an enhancement tree or potentially an iconic. I think there potentially Cavalier would have some ability to be any of those things. But nothing to announce here. We do not... Well, I think you'll find that potion crafting is a flavor in the description of a lot of these spells. We don't have a formal separate potion crafting system debuting with Alchemist here, however. You can also hurt undead and heal thyself with these Alchemist potions. I would imagine someone who is investing in kind of a chucker tree, you're going to probably want to get the Accelerate Metamagic feat first off. That will not only allow you to attack much more quickly, but it's a straight shot to the enemies. And that was demonstrated both very nicely in the Strimtom video from a couple weeks back, in addition to, I think, even what we saw on the Mania recently. So. Barbarians have a bobby tree. I don't know, man. Polearms would be fun. The weekend bonus is double Commendations of Valor. In addition, we are kicking off the Reezy Ice Games and Midwinter Festival through February... Make sure I get that date right again. February 11th, being shut off the morning of Wednesday, February 12th. No. I'm drinking a polar seltzer water here. Still hoping for Isle of Dread. Yep, hopefully at some point here that will happen. But we'll see. It did not get announced for 2020 here, however. Get Frank Welker and just make him do uni. Seems like that might be a kind of a waste of talent, but, you know. Great question. Zrich, does SSG foresee hardcore seasons as, quote, always being permadeath, or will there be other kinds of seasons? There's the potential to go wider if we want to. That's come up as possibilities. Our next one will be another permadeath season, and I think permadeath will remain probably the core of a lot of the hardcore seasons we see in the future, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And as long as these seasons end up being continued successes, you know, people like them and everything, we'll probably keep doing it and see what we might be able to do for alternatives. I agree, Matt. Where are you, Rebus? We need your top 10. Is there any talk of expansion into more Forgotten Realms in the future? Nothing to announce. What we are doing is going into the Fae Wild, which is often linked in modern, I understand, lore to Forgotten Realms, but is not technically. And in terms of exactly where it'll be set and all that sort of thing, I think I'll have to find out more and then let you know. I don't think it's set in the Forgotten Realms directly. I'm just saying, getting Frank Welker, and all this guy does is do the voice of Uni, seems like kind of a waste of talent if we've got the one, the only Frank Welker. Joshua, we haven't announced any kind of additional classic module for this year. You know, we've got our hands busy with Alchemist and a bunch of other things, but certainly aren't done with that for good. They will be. I'm sure we'll do another one here in the future. I cannot provide further detail as to what may or may not be in the Fae Wild. I'm sorry. It's just too early. But, you know, it's not too early to, like I say, talk about Reezy and Midwinter. Nothing new this year, although it is back based on really your demand. Hopefully in the near future we'll be able to up the loot in there someday. But, you know, getting out a new class and new spells and everything else just made that something we couldn't do this time around. We've got our anniversary stuff coming up here in the next couple of weeks, and a whole lot more information about Hardcore League Season 2 along with Update 45 here as well. So. I would love a record player for guild ships. I bet Eberron's figured out how to do records, although maybe they're beyond records at this point. They can just call in through portals and what have you. I could just go straight to the North Ward, but whatever. Ooh, a DDO client dungeon maker, that would be neat. The idea of a vampiric sort of universal enhancement tree, you know, beyond, say, Pale Master, which already kind of has a vampire form, you know, it's something that's come up. Ooh, yeah, that Eberron source book. Very cool. Someone's saying they got it for the holidays. And I think that's awesome. Are there any more spells? No, I'll just leave the spells where I am. Gamma World. I played Gamma World back in the day. It was a pretty fun time. Yeah. Well, there's really not much. I mean, I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm really just kind of putzing around here, so that you can kind of see the alchemist in action. I don't know. There's a whole lot more to show off. Maybe I can just kind of pop into the dojo here. And bring up these enhancement trees. I did not spend into the enhancement trees, but let me take a look at, say, Vile Chemist. So simple weapon in your main hand, simple weapon or brute arm, nothing in the offhand. You know what I'm saying? With Vile Chemist in particular, you've got some synergies with like swashbuckler and single weapon fighting and all that. Yep, poison spell power, that's now a thing. Try that. So like for example here, when your reaction is Orchidium or purple, you get +1 fort saves and +1 for every 5 alchemist levels you have. You'll see, while in Vile Chemist in particular also you inflict contaminated, which does a whole bunch of different things in the tree. And let me just real quick show off these a little bit as well. Where's the shot? There we go. This is a stance. And also let me get a weapon in my main hand just to take advantage of the stuff I just did. Simple weapon in my main hand should be easy enough to find. There we go. Dagger of Inquisition. Good enough. Boot Hill. I never played Boot Hill. I also played Top Secret. Do any of you remember Top Secret? The old TSR RPG. I used to play that back in the kind of late 80s, early 90s as well. Bonk. Bonk. Alright, so Poison Shot is a ranged attack. Myself a AC bonus. You'll see you basically pour it on yourself. Actually, that doesn't look right yet. I wonder if the animation's not right on Wave of Poison yet. It shouldn't be off on the side. I suspect it should be forward, not off on the side. Oh, out of ammo. Let me get my... Oh, maybe that's not working either then. Like I say, it's not quite there yet, but we're getting there, so I think that's about what I'm going to be able to show you today. Okay. Thanks, Frank, over on YouTube. We will get the Reezy ice skates in the DDO store post haste. That should be easy enough. The 64-bit client, Barry, we do have some news. I'm actually running it on an internal game client right now. That's what this video's been. But it's real early in the process yet. We just now kind of brought it into this environment here, so it's too early to give any kind of formal ETA. But if everything goes well, it could be relatively soon. All right, I think it's going to wrap it up then with the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. I'll be back next Wednesday with more. Hopefully, maybe we'll have update 45 to do on Galanda. Maybe not. See how things go. Otherwise, enjoy the Reezy Ice Games and Midwinter Festival and take advantage of the Accommodations of Valor bonus. And hope you all have a great time. Samus Garobo is going to be up next. Have a good weekend, everyone.